Welcome to our latest news update. Today we will be discussing some of the most recent and important news stories from around the world. First up, a father was tragically killed outside the Vancouver Starbucks after asking the man to not vape near his toddler. Yes, a judge has allowed Dominion's defamation case to go to trial. In other news, egg prices have sent profits of the largest disc producer soaring more than 700. Additionally, a 911 caller has reported that Covenant staff were harmed. Finally, another Idaho hospital has announced that it can no longer deliver babies. These stories are all important, and we will be discussing them in more detail. So, without further ado, let's get started. Hey guys, did you hear about the new restaurant called Karma? There's no menu. You just get what you deserve.
Breaking news. A father was stabbed to death outside a Vancouver Starbucks after asking a man to not vape near his toddler.
I always knew vaping was bad for you, but I didn't think it was stuff with me.
This is a tragic event. Our thoughts go out to the victim's family.
It's a sad reality that we live in a world where a simple request can lead to such a violent outcome.
I guess we can add vaping to the list of things not to do near toddlers, along with swearing and watching rated movies.
In this article from Vancouver Sun, it's reported that the victim's mother said the confrontation started when the victim asked the suspect to not vape near his toddler.
I guess we can add vaping to the list of things not to do in public, along with smoking and singing loudly on the subway.
It's important to remember that we should all be respectful of each other in public spaces. A simple request should never lead to violence.
Well, from one case of someone not respecting personal boundaries to another, it seems like people just can't resist blowing smoke in other people's faces these days. Speaking of legal battles, our next story involves a big corporation taking on some big accusations.
Well, looks like Fox News is in hot water again. This time, they're facing their first $6 billion defamation lawsuit from Dominion Voting Systems. It's a big win for Dominion, and a major blow to Fox News.
Yes, Eric, it's definitely a big story. And it's interesting to see how the judge ruled that the challenged statements are false. That's a pretty strong statement.
Well, I must say, it's not rocket science to see that Fox News was spreading baseless conspiracy theories. But it's good to see that the judge agreed with Dominion.
I have to agree with Albert on this one. It's not like we need a rocket to figure out that Fox News was spreading lies, but it's good to see that the judge is holding them accountable.
It's interesting to see that the judge also knocked Fox's neutral reporting claim. It's clear that they were not conducting good faith, disinterested reporting.
And the fact that the jury will be asked to consider whether Fox News journalists acted with actual malice is a big deal. It shows that there are consequences for spreading lies.
I couldn't agree more, Kitty. It's important to hold the media accountable for their actions. And it's good to see that Dominion is standing up for themselves.
Absolutely, Albert. And it's also important to remember that this case is about the First Amendment protections of the media's absolute right to cover the news. We need to fiercely advocate for the rights of free speech and a free press.
Well said, Alon. And in this article from Mac News, it's clear that Fox News was not telling the truth. Accusations of criminal activity, even in the form of opinion, are not constitutionally protected.
It will be interesting to see how this trial plays out. I hope that justice is served, and that the truth prevails. Well, from legal battles to breakfast battles, it looks like the only thing that's going up faster than Dominion's case is the price of eggs. Looks like we'll all have to start saving up for our morning omelets.
Well, looks like the egg industry is scrambling to make a profit.
But at what cost? Are they putting all their eggs in one basket?
I'm sure they're just trying to hatch a plan for success.
Regardless, it's clear that the demand for eggs is still high despite the price increase.
Well, we have to consider the impact on American families who are struggling to put food on the table.
Maybe we should all just start eating egg whites instead.
In this article from Can, it's mentioned that the avian flu has caused a reduction in the egg supply. That could be a factor in the price increase.
Maybe we should invest in some robotic chickens to increase the supply.
But we also have to hold these corporations accountable for their pricing decisions. We can't let them take advantage of consumers.
Well, it looks like the egg industry is really cracking up. But speaking of things that are over easy, let's move on to our next story.
Good evening and welcome to our news segment. Today we have a breaking news story from the Tennessean. 911 caller reported that staff members of Covenant School were carrying firearms. This is a tragic event that has left 6 people dead, including 3 children. Our hearts go out to the families affected by this senseless act of violence.
Whoa, that's really scary. I can't imagine what those kids and their families are going through. But on a lighter note, have you guys seen the new TikTok dance craze? I think we should all learn it and do it on air.
As much as I would love to learn a TikTok dance, I think we should focus on the news at hand. It's concerning that a school would allow staff members to carry firearms. It raises questions about safety protocols and the potential for accidents or misuse.
Well, I for one am glad that I have my own private security team. I don't have to worry about carrying a gun myself. But in all seriousness, this is a tragic event, and we need to look at ways to prevent these types of incidents from happening in the future.
Absolutely, Alon. We need to have a serious conversation about gun control and how we can keep our schools and communities safe. It's not enough to just offer thoughts and prayers. We need action.
Speaking of action, have you guys seen the new action movie that just came out? It's got explosions and car chases and everything.
Hey D, I think we should stay focused on the news. This is a serious issue that requires our attention. We need to look at root causes of gun violence and find solutions that work for everyone.
Well, I think we can all agree that we need to do something. Maybe we can invent a new technology that can detect when someone is about to commit a violent act and stop them before it happens.
That's an interesting idea, Alon. But in the meantime, we need to take action to prevent these types of tragedies from happening. We owe it to the victims and their families to do everything we can to keep them safe.
Well, it looks like the staff at Covenant were ready for anything, including delivering babies. Speaking of which, another Idaho hospital has decided they are not quite as prepared.
Well, folks, it looks like we have some breaking news tonight. Another Idaho hospital has announced that it will no longer deliver babies after June 1st. This is a concerning development for the rural community that relies on this hospital for their healthcare needs.
Well, that's really sad news. I hope the families in that area can find the care they need elsewhere.
It's interesting to see how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected healthcare systems in rural areas. The shortage of staff and nurses is a significant issue that needs to be addressed.
Maybe we can send some robots to help out with the nursing shortage. I hear they're pretty good at repetitive tasks.
In this article from Idaho Capital Center, it's mentioned that the hospital cited the difficulty of recruiting and retaining a full team of high-quality nurses as one of the reasons for their decision. This is a problem that many rural hospitals face.
It's also concerning that the Idaho legislature is on track to fund research into preventing maternal deaths. We need to prioritize women's health and ensure that they have access to the care they need.
I agree, Katie. It's important to invest in research and innovation to improve healthcare outcomes. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in the past like some of my old physics theories.
It's also worth noting that there are several hospitals within an hour of Emmett, including hospitals operated by Luke's and St. Alphonsus Health Systems. While it's unfortunate that this hospital is closing its labor and delivery services, there are still options available for families in the area.
That's a good point, Alon. It's important to remember that healthcare is a complex issue with many factors at play. We need to work together to find solutions that ensure everyone has access to quality care.